clearing, so it's still great weather to get out and go for a nice hike. Pro adventure athlete Dave Nerona is here to get us up to speed on the best trails here in Vancouver, and we were just chatting during the break. So many options when it comes to Vancouver.
Yeah, I mean, the best part about living here is right out our doors we have the full wilderness, whether you want to mountain bike or hike or paddle, do all these great things. So we live in probably the best place in the world, I would say.
And a lot of things to consider. We're going to be talking about gear later on in the show. Right now we're actually going to talk about some specific trails that you've hit and you think are great. Stanley Park. Bit of an easy one to start off with. Yeah,
I mean, anytime people want to get people out, whether it's running or hiking, is to hit a place that's a little bit easier. So Stanley Park is just a great place because the trails are pretty easy. It's pretty flat, but it's also important to remember that there's some real cool little gems off the beaten path and trails around that you might not hit. So it's a good place to go explore. And the best part about it is that you're not going to get, you can get lost in Stanley Park. It's pretty easy to do if you don't have a map, but that's not going to be necessarily a bad thing because you are going to come out on a road where you'll be able to find your way home, and I think that's really important.
Any gem you can share right now when it comes to Stanley Park, a trail that...
Yeah, the trails that I find that are really great around Stanley Park are actually on the backside, sort of under Lions Gate Bridge, in and around that area, and these are trails you can access right off the seawall, and they're a little bit hidden, and they also follow the water line, so they're a little bit above the seawall, but they undulate up and down, and you get great views of all the water around, and they sort of circumnavigate Stanley Park, so they're out there and they're easy to get to, and they might just be little small sections in between longer trails that you can kind of nip off the beaten path and check out the views, and there's lots of little hidden gems in Stanley Park. It's pretty cool.
And it's a good one to get started in terms of level of difficulty, easy to moderate. Pacific Spirit Park, I know that's a popular one.
Right, and a great spot for dog walkers and hikers alike, and a lot of people who mountain bike can also commute to UBC during the year. So what's great about UBC is that it's a little bit more of an added off-road experience. So Stanley Park has gravel, and Pacific Spirit Park out at UBC has more undulating terrain. It has rocks and roots, and there's also lots of little trails that go off the main trails that make it really fun, whether you're hiking, walking with your dog, with your friends, or mountain biking as well.
Yeah, and if you want to kick it up a notch, North Shore Mountains.
Yeah, this is the real thing. The North Shore Mountains. I mean, it's a place that's not to be taken lightly. You want to make sure you have experience and that you carry all the 10 essentials. We're going to show those later in the show, but they carry the right gear that you have and go with someone. And the most important thing is to let someone know where you're going. Okay, so if that means when you're going out in your vehicle, you leave a note. You also tell someone the specific trail that you're going to be. And all in hopes is that most of the time nothing goes wrong. But if something does, at least search and rescue or someone knows where you went to, because there's nothing like looking for a needle in a haystack on the North Shore Mountains because it's a huge place. But if people know that you went on the Grouse Grind Trail, or you went on the BCMC Trail, or you went on the Lynn Valley Trail up in Seymour, then they can specifically target those areas and find you if you were injured or lost. So it makes a big difference. And on the North Shore Mountains, we're talking about, lots of water, creeks, rocks, roots, really steep terrain. And it's also a place that you don't want to be taking off the beaten path. These aren't places you want to bushwhack, because the problems on the North Shore Mountains is that when you get off these trails, it's really, really steep terrain.
All right, so a little bit of insight on the trails, the all-important essentials when it comes to what to take with us. You're going to give us the details on that coming up shortly. Right now, though, we'll get back over to traffic with Michelle.
All right, thank you very much, guys. And